Hey guys, so it's been around 7 weeks since Shin Megami Tensei 5 launched on Nintendo Switch and really rocked the AAA monster taming landscape, at least in my opinion. SMT5 in many ways raised the bar of what is to be expected from monster taming titles with its impeccable gameplay, whether it be its mechanics, features, or just general story progression, amongst other things. For a lot of people, SMT5 was their very first Shin Megami Tensei title, and as of such, those that played through SMT5 might be looking for more experiences like it. That said, in this video, I will be going over 5 titles that I believe any fan of SMT5 should, at the very least, check out. We've got games in the early stages of development, some games launching very soon, and others that are already out. So I do think this list will be useful in providing you guys with some cool games to check out. That said, let's dive in. Alright, so we're going to start things off with an up-and-coming title that I'm personally very excited for called Eternal Exodus, a monster taming RPG that takes place in the afterlife. Essentially, you're in this strange realm where everybody goes when they die. Some call it hell, some really don't know what's going on or what its purpose is, but one thing that we do know is that it is infected with demons, and some humans have the ability to summon and tame them at their will. The game, of course, features a combat system very reminiscent of SMT, and a fusion system of the same, but also has its own more unique caveats, like having a shiny system for you shiny hunters out there, and having a capture system more akin to Pokemon. All in all, it seems to be a pretty promising title. It is currently in alpha on Steam. However, it is planned for a full access launch next year and will be coming to all major platforms. I will leave the Steam demo linked below, and I highly recommend checking it out. You could also check out this stream, which will be linked below, where I actually played through the alpha with the developer live. But yeah, the interesting world and the SMT-like combat definitely has me intrigued. Next up, we got a title that is currently in early access on Steam, that being Malus and Greed, what essentially is an SMT-like roguelike. As of such, the world map, if you will, is this branching tree of choices for the player to make, each with its own unique implications. Imagine a game like Slay the Spire fused with SMT, and I think that gives you a sort of general idea of what this game entails. I also absolutely love the Steam description they put out, which reads as follows. Malice and Greed is a roguelike RPG inspired by Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, where you force enemies to join you and butcher them to steal their skills. Use every enemy and boss on your team and combine their skills into powerful combos. Discover new playstyles each run and customize your team as you ascend to Nirvana. So yes, butchering and forcing your enemies to do your bidding, because at the end of the day, is that not what it's all about? Next on the list is a early development title called Mirrored Soul, another very interesting game as far as its lore is concerned. You play as a retired detective whom stumbles upon a land beyond the mirrors. In this land, you can recruit, fuse, and battle these strange creatures and ultimately go up against the forces of the Mirror Lord. The game has the following features planned: over 200 monsters to recruit to your party, challenging, engaging gameplay which requires strategy and team building and deters players from grinding, a monster fusion mechanic in which players can combine 2 of their creatures into a new one, which will inherit skills from each of their movesets, a pretty banging OST, many secrets to find off the beaten path, from rare monsters to side quests to bosses. Perhaps there's even something a bit more sinister lying deep within the mirror world, and much more. While the game currently is not out yet, we do have a demo available on itch.io that I do plan on streaming or making a video going over in the near future, because I think it looks really cool personally. It's got those old school RPG vibes, and I'm all about it. Alright, so next we got a somewhat older game. Not really, it came out in 2017, but nevertheless it goes by the name The Lost Child. Now, this game, much like SMT5, takes place in modern Tokyo, and Armageddon is near. Demons and angels are planning a war, and I quote, beyond human perception. And much like every other game on this list, the game features SMT-like combat and recruitment with multiple monsters on both sides of the field. The game features a lot of these anime-style interactions in your typical JRPG format, and in terms of player movement, it plays a lot like the original Megami Tensei game, in that it's a first-person dungeon crawler. The game does seem to have mixed reviews, with some saying that they really enjoyed it, whilst others saying it's too easy and basic, so definitely take with that what you will. Finally, and yes, we have Shin Megami Tensei 3. Now, before you start smashing your keyboard and going, "Oh my god, Ed, really? SMT3? It's another SMT game." Yeah, believe it or not, a lot of people who have played SMT5 have not played SMT3, and many of SMT5's references, gameplay mechanics, etc. are extremely reminiscent of SMT3, which is why I put it on this list. Anyways, SMT3 is pretty much a predecessor to SMT5, and it takes place right at the cusp of the Rapture, essentially leading up to the events of the previously mentioned game. In this game, you play as the Demi-Fiend, a human-demon hybrid, which is not the same, but still pretty similar to the Nahabino you play as in SMT5. You can customize the Demi-Fiend's stats. If the Demi-Fiend is taken out, you lose. You can negotiate with demons to get them to join you, etc. If you enjoyed Shin Megami Tensei 5, you will enjoy Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, hands down. Do note, however, that the game does have what I'd consider a few downgrades, because the game, of course, is a lot older, such as random encounters as opposed to the overworld ones that we see in SMT5, and the negotiations are a lot trickier this time around, but nevertheless, SMT3 is definitely a title worth checking out, and luckily for us, it did come out as a remaster last year on Steam and other major platforms. And there you go, guys. Those were 5 games that fans of SMT5 should definitely be checking out. Like I said, not all the games are fully out just yet, but I do know that there's a real almost fulfillment in having front row seats to watching a game develop and sort of playing through it during the early stages and having your input heard and stuff like that. So I figured, why not throw these in? Anyway, definitely let me know in the comments below if there are any other games you think that SMT fans would enjoy, and let me know what game or game series I should make a video for next in this sort of style. There's a lot of games in the monster taming community inspired by Monster Rancher and Dragon Warrior Monsters, for example, so those videos are more likely than not coming in the near future. That said, if you are a fan of the genre, if you're a fan of SMT, or want just general monster taming news and daily videos, definitely subscribe to the channel. You can also check out my Twitter and Discord, which will be linked below. And special thanks to our patrons, especially our mythical backers, Jim Hamilton and Steel Case. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.